Hey there, welcome to the virtual table. So, we're going to discuss a game that a friend of mine physically owns it, so I do get to play the physical copy, but I really love this game. And it's called Ark Nova, as you can see here on the screen. And, loving the game doesn't mean that I am a master at it. It's actually very frustrating to play sometimes. Um, it's got some weird things, and sometimes you could feel like you get in a rut, and and there's just nothing you can do to get out of the rut, and maybe there's maybe that's the most I don't know the most logical criticism of the game is it's hard to catch up because it is a bit of a race, especially the solitaire mode, um, which is amazingly very different from multiplayer. And I'm not sure I like it that much. I like the multiplayer so much more. Um, and then, of course, when you have the app, you play against real, at least AI bots that are playing like a real human would. And I really appreciate that. So much more than the solo mode on the physical copy. So I just realized I need to pause real quick, and then I will go ahead and get started in this game. Okay, back to this. Now, it has some really nice music, but when you do YouTube videos, sometimes the music gets copyright violations, and then they let you upload the video, but they take all the revenue. And I've always said all along that the goal of my channel was not to make revenue, but my goal is also not to give revenue to other people for doing nothing other than making music for an app that they made music for. So it doesn't benefit me to support them, then so I'm not going to. And I know some people are going to have opinionated, you know, remarks about that, but it is what it is. I'm just not willing to help. And I know there's ways to look up whether the music is okay for this particular app, but it's not easy. And, anyways, I don't want to belabor it. I just wanted you to understand there's wonderful music in this, and I just happen to have it off. So, with that said, let's get into local play here. Lots of great options here. Solo play is like the physical board game, and maybe we could start with that, but I actually think that's going to confuse things in terms of understanding the game. There is a special exhibit, which they got a couple things going on. This will have special rules. And here, let me click on it for. I didn't realize it was going to take so long to load. See, they modify the rules of the game, so you have to understand the basic game before you're going to understand this. So again, we don't want to touch that right now. Challenges are similar, except these are fixed challenges. So you have at your leisure, you try the different challenges. If you succeed on this map, then it unlocks a more difficult version of the same challenge. As you can tell, I haven't done this yet. I have another app from this same designer called Clank, and it's fun. I haven't been doing challenges because I've just been enjoying the regular play so far. But a lot of people will ask, "Hey, this is on Board Game Arena," which it is, and so they'll say, "Why would I buy this if it's on Board Game Arena?" And this is why. There's these little extra features, and also you get to play against real AI, which is what we're going to do, and you can't do that on Board Game Arena. Now you can play against real people on Board Game Arena, so just choose whatever works for you. I definitely don't, you know, have any close affiliation with this particular app. I just enjoy it a lot. And when developers make complex board games like this, and they do it so well, I really want to praise them for that. And hopefully they make enough business that they'll do more. Because that's the thing, that I really value. All right, so, and like I said, there's another game that they make called Clank, which is a deck building game. It's a very, maybe I'll cover that one as well sometime. totally enjoy that too, even though that's more of a beer and pretzels game for me. Um, I do enjoy that, especially on a work night where I don't want to get into a heavy game, but I still want to play something. It's fun to do. Okay, so we're gonna do three AI. We're gonna do medium. The map modes. Um, this is really confusing if you're not used to the physical copy of the game, but there's all these different maps you can use. Beginner will give you like a map that gives you a lot of bonuses. The intermediate is, if you understand the basics of the game, which we're gonna do, and then they got, I think this is the basic rules. Like if you played the physical copy, you get two advanced maps, and you get to choose which one you want to start with. I think I still get to do that even with the intermediate. We'll see. I apologize for not remembering. And then of course they got draft and other options, lots of options. But basically, the map is going to be the map of your zoo, and it'll make sense once we get into it. So we create the game, and this is the map I'm talking about. So there's this. So a lot of things are happening here. The first one is it's telling you that we drew map 0. So there's all these maps that you can draw. You're not going to always get the same map every time, which I do appreciate. Map 0 looks like this. These little yellow things are bonuses. Like if you can build something on those, you get those bonuses. The water, of course, is you don't build on the water, but some of your animals need to be near the water. So there's certain requirements like that. And the same for the rocks. Like some animals need to be near it. You're going to fill this board up with a Tetris style gameplay. You're going to have different things that have Tetris shapes, and you'll be able to put those in. And you do get a bonus for completing the entire map. But even that bonus is based on the actual map you choose. Now, like I said, in a normal game, you would have two maps to choose from, and part of your pre-game decision making is which one would you like to play. When you're playing the beginner or like this intermediate one, it's those choices are reduced, which I do recommend for your first game, because if you don't understand all the mechanics, it does get a little overwhelming. But with that said, it's saying that there's no special rules for this map, but there's generous rewards on here for less experienced players. And I'm looking at it real quick. The most generous rewards are right here. These two and that two. Those are very generous. Not always on a map. You could argue that this is also generous, but well, actually, here it is. There's the generous one right there. The get 10, and we'll describe what all that is as we go. The next overwhelming part of the game is you have to choose 4 of these 8 cards to keep, and you're like, well, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. And again, with the way the mechanics in the game are, you have to understand a lot of stuff to even understand what 4 cards you should keep. And so let's dive in, and really there's 2 primary things you need to understand. Well, three primary things you need to understand in order to determine which 4 cards are right for you. Maybe a 4th one, but the 4th one is more just generic common sense. So let's talk about the generic common sense first. Generic common sense is you start the game with 25 money, and this is how much it costs to build these, place these animals in your zoo. So this one costs more money than you even have right now. So, while that's a really nice animal, maybe it's not one you want to start the game with. So that's the 4th one, right? So we get that out of the way. You got to bear in mind with what you start the game with. So let me assist you with what you see on the screen, and your physical copy is going to look very similar. Now there's a few things that aren't seen on this screen that we're going to talk about as soon as I pick my 4 cards. So you're just going to have to trust me on those parts, because I can't show you those yet until we get this screen to go away. But we're going to start here on the bottom left. This is summarizing what we have. So this is just a profile picture. I have 25 money. Whenever we go to coffee break, which we'll explain that in a minute, basically players take actions until a coffee break occurs, and then there's sort of like a an intermission, and then things happen, and then you get another set of actions. Well, this coffee break, I'm going to get 8 money, and it says appeal, and I'll explain what that means. But there's these tracks up here, and one of them, well, there we go. So this is the appeal track, and so right now I am the red player, hence the red worker and the red circle. And due to the turn order, I started on 3 appeal. So the first player starts at 0. I start at 3. The advantage I get at going last is he's going to get 5 income during coffee break, and I'm already at 8. So as you move up an appeal, you can see that the income that you get during your coffee breaks goes up. So you want to have high appeal for every coffee break. And so that's one of the tracks you have. The next one you have is, this is called your, I think it's the conservation track. It's basically like how well you're, you know, helping to conserve, animals and contributing to the world with your zoo. And we all start at 0, and you're going to move up this track. Now, actually, I do have the ability to pull up all the screens. So here's the thing to understand is this is like the physical copy. And what you're seeing here is this is the conservation track, and we're at 0. And then down here is the appeal track, and they're blended together. And that's the way it's supposed to be. When you see this, it looks like they're separate tracks. And that's just because the game is helping you to see where you are with each one. So this particular portion of the track is specific to appeal, and it gets you income, right? And then this particular portion of the track is your conservation, and I'm going to bring up the whole thing so now you can see it all at once. You have a marker up here on the conservation. You have markers down here on the appeal. So as you gain appeal, you're going to move up, and the number that you see here is the number of appeal you have. So if you have 50 appeal, you're going to go all the way up to here. And then here, if you go up conservation and you have 25 conservation, you're going to go all the way around until you get to here. And actually, you would meet the marker down here and the marker up there would both be on the same space. And that, my friends, is how the game end triggers. When somebody has the 2 markers meet, that triggers the end of the game. And the end of the game is very abrupt. So the moment that happens, it's like, we're done. Finish the round, and it's over. It's not like some games are very generous where the end game gets triggered and you get one more action. That's not the case here. Now, there's some things to see here and understand, and some of this is going to make more sense as you understand more of the mechanics. But here's the things that are the most important to understand for now. This is your income. And we talked about that already. As you move up, your income goes up. Obviously, it slows down and gets harder to move up in income, but it's still the case. And in the early game, just the slightest amount of appeal makes your income go up by quite a bit. Now, you'll see this number 25 here is red. Certain cards can only be played if your appeal has not exceeded this. And those cards are very, I don't want to say very rare, but they're not common. And so you don't always run into that. But once you get past 25 appeal, certain cards just aren't something you can play anymore. And they're just things that you can discard or use for other reasons. So, but just wanted to make sure, because like if you're honing in on this, that's what that means. The key thing here is that your score at the end of the game is going to be determined based on where you are on both of these tracks. And it's the relative difference between them. And so in the original physical copy, you're starting, which I think this is emulating. See, we start with a negative score. We have minus 11 points. So as you move up and you get to 11 here, I think you're going to then be at 0. But it's more complicated than that, because if your 2 markers pass each other, you're going to start gaining positive points, and if they haven't met each other, then you get negative points at the end of the game. And now those negative points are counteracted by, because each of these conservation points is an actual point in the game. And same here. So as you move along this track, This, if it hasn't met the other one, you're gonna start get. We'll pull up the. It's actually complicated. I have to stop and think about it. But but anyways, this is your actual points, and because I play the app and it calculates the points for me, I'm not as savvy when I play the physical copy with my friends. My friend has it all understood. I fully confess to you that I don't have it the mastery, so I can explain it to you to the T. I have to pull up the rule book, but it is here. It's available, and we can go over that if that uh, because that is important. But I just want you to understand, though, that the score is based on how these two markers meet each other and exceed each other, and that also indicates, end of game. Now, I said there were three things you needed to know in order to know what four cards to keep. Um, the first of those three things is, of course, what map you have, because sometimes the bonuses on this map might lean you one way or another. Like, the first thing I can tell you is that the water spaces are really difficult to get access to. Like, they're in the corners, so I'm not going to have a lot of zoo spaces touching water unless you're talking about, like, right here. I mean, there is opportunity, but it's just something I keep in the back of my mind. I also want to unlock some of these bigger bonuses. Just like it says, there's some really nice bonuses here. That 10 money right there is the big one. And I want to go after that early. It's a minor thing compared to the next two, but it's just important to understand that the map you choose might dictate, which animals you're choosing. The two things that you need to understand before you pick is over here. So, first of all, you have two cards that are secret. So no other player knows what these are, and by the end of the game, in fact, right here, when the first player gets to 10 conservation points, we have to discard one of these cards. These are endgame scoring. They're private endgame scoring. Nobody knows what they are. And so my first one here says gain conservation, which is points, for supporting conservation projects, which we haven't talked about yet, but basically it's saying that if I support 3 conservation projects, I get 1 conservation point. And that's an interesting one because supporting conservation projects is a very critical part of the game. So, that sort of they build on each other. So it's like rewarding you for doing what you already wanted to do. So, not a bad one. I do think supporting 6 conservation projects is extremely challenging, but we'll see. Then this one here is gain for sponsor cards in your zoo. And we haven't talked about sponsor cards yet either. But just understand that those are your 2 goals. So, how do these goals help you pick which card? Well, I'll talk about the sponsor one right now. The sponsor cards are these cards here. So there's actually 1, 2, 3. There's 4 sponsor cards available right now. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you'll have 0. But I actually have 4 sponsor cards already available for me. And some of these are decent. Like this one is a very decent one. And we'll get into what they mean and all that stuff later. But this here supports the whole concept of there I need to have 10 sponsor cards. I already have 4 of them here if I select all 4. So that's the first thing. The next thing is the conservation projects that this is referring to. We have to explain what conservation projects are before we explain how that impacts your decisions. The conservation projects is actually the other item you need to be aware of before you start the game, and that's right here. These 4 cards. These are random. You don't have any control over what those are. And then there's 4 empty spots. Now this is dictated by the number of players in the game. We're playing a 4-player game. If you're playing a 2-player game, only 2 spots would be available. But the point is that players can add even more conservation projects, and that can change the game as we go. Now, there are no conservation project cards here. Sometimes instead of these sponsor cards, you'll have conservation cards. And they look exactly like these cards, except they're in your hand and you can play them. So we'll talk about that in a second. And here we go, the display row. These are the cards that are going to be available for us to draw from. And as you can see, it's currently not filled in yet. So we have to pick our starting hand first. So what do these conservation projects mean? So there's a mechanic in the game where you do one of these actions, and you can see here, starting a conservation project requires 5 of these action points. There's also getting a university, there's partner zoos, like there's other things you can do, but one of the actions is supporting a conservation project. These 4 projects are basically like objectives. So they're real simple. Let's start with the first one here. I don't know why the pop-up's not. There we go. So this requires you to have Europe in your zoo. So if you have 5 Europe symbols, you're going to get 5 conservation points, in 4 and then 2, right? This is exactly the same except it's Africa. And then here it's you need different animal icons in your zoo. And then down here you need to have herbivores, which are the grazing symbol there. Now, this game is all about symbols. And this little area here will start filling up with all the symbols that you've achieved. And as you earn the symbols, they just accumulate. And then that's what allows you to go and do these conservation projects. Like I said, every conservation point is actual physical points in the game. So obviously, supporting these will give you physical points. And then if you do enough of these, you get even more points on top of it. That's the idea. Now, that brings us to selecting our cards and then making our decisions. First things first, the left side is requirements to build the card or play it. This here are your rewards. And also at the bottom, and all this is your rewards. So there's 2 different types of rewards. This is like in any card game, these are your physical rewards you get for playing the card. So you get this, and then this is appeal. And remember, that's this track. That increases your income. So if you build this bald eagle, you're going to move up 8 spots. And you can see I would jump from 8 income to 13 or 14. Now this here, these are those symbols we're talking about. So there's a Europe symbol and an Africa symbol, right? So right there, these are Asian symbols. That's Asia, that's Australia, another Asia, and then this is the North America, or the Americas. I'm sorry, not just North. And you can see those are all represented here as well. So the Europe symbol isn't even in my list of options, and neither is the Africa symbol. So I have a really bad early draw so far. Now, the sponsors are exactly the same. They have requirements on the left, and then you still get symbols. Like this would give me the penguins would give me a bird symbol, and then I get research symbols from these 2. This one requires 1 research symbol, so I would have to play this card first, get that symbol, and then I can play this card second, and then I would get another symbol. So I'd have 2 of them. And yeah, it's just luck of the draw. Sometimes these will say you need to have research symbols or the bird symbols. It just so happens none of that is true. Now, one thing that is jumping out at me is I have 2 of the grazing symbols, and that is one of the objectives. So when you're determining, okay, which one of these do we want, that's where it starts to become, interesting. So I look at this as, well, there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and this is where I confess to you I'm not a master of the game, so I sometimes, I do feel, though, that with the games I've played, this is critical. And it's, again, it's, I think, one of the reasons why somebody might not like the game, because if you choose poorly here, you can give yourself a bad start, and it's hard to catch up. So what do I mean by that? Well, you want to get this going so you get better income, because money is limiting, at least early in the game. There's things you can do to give yourself more money, and then it doesn't become as limiting later. But in the beginning, it's actually very constrictive. And so this is spending money, and you get things, of course, which are nice, but you want to make sure that you can afford, because you have to build enclosures before you could even place the animals in them, and that costs money as well. So there's a lot going on here, and Anyways, you gotta be. Um, I don't. This is the part where it gets tough. So right now I'm looking at, okay, I got two grazing, which meets this objective. So maybe this one and this one are out. Well, this and this are out in my mind, anyways, because they're just super expensive to build. These are not cheap either. So if I take these cards, this is more of a long game, and all in all, it's not great for me. None of these cards are cheap. They're not easy to get out there. It's going to be a slow start. Now, the Tiger and these other ones, you can see they don't just have appeal. Like placing the Tiger on the board gives you 2 points in this track. You get 2 points here, and you get 1 point on the academic track, which I think that's called influence, I believe. And you get that. Well, hold on. There we go. It's up here. So when you see, there's yet another track, right? There's so many tracks in this game. So moving up all these tracks is extremely important, and you know, not. It's more of a on your first turn you need to be aware of these things, but um, again, it's so expensive to build this tiger, and then on top of it, these little water symbols means that he needs to be near two water spaces. So you would have to put him in like a spot like here, where he's next to this water and that water. Um, Very, very difficult to get him built. You need 26 money, which is more than we start the game with, and you need two research icons, which I could do with these two cards here, but the rest of it is really difficult. This Dugong is just as bad. Um, so it's not easy. And then this little symbol here means that you have to upgrade one of your actions, the animal action. And we haven't talked about that yet, but that action needs to be upgraded, or you can't even play this card. So this is not an early game play at all. The only one that you could possibly play early is this one. It's going to blow all your money, but I could do this early, and it will give me 5. So if I come over here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to up my income to 11, which doesn't fully make back the 17, but it's close. And then this little bump here is nice. It does let me do this action. And anyways, you could spend all day going over this, but since the game is new and if people haven't seen this before, I'm trying to like help explain like all the symbols you're seeing and why it matters. Okay, so I'm currently looking at the sponsor one as what I want to shoot for, which means I do value these cards down here, largely because I'm not looking at these cards as viable. This one and this one are for sure out. Not saying that they aren't good cards, it's just I can't afford them. This one I'm going to keep because of this objective, but I know I'm not going to. This card is going to just stay in my hand for a long time. It's going to take a while to upgrade that action and to have two water spaces, right? He's got the same requirement as the Tiger. This is going to be a very difficult card to play. I could theoretically end the game and not successfully play this card. Now, when it gets to down here, so I'm going to keep this card and this card. And I'm doing it largely because there's an objective that supports that. This one I can reasonably get out within the first round, which will help me to improve my income, which is important. Okay, then when we get to these four here, I'm looking at the situation, and this one requires a monkey symbol. None of these things are giving me monkey symbols, so I can't play this card at the start of the game. So this is going to be a really hard card to play. Now, sponsorship is these cards are different than animals, and you can see here, this is these are your animals that you have in your zoo. These are the sponsors you have in your zoo, and then of course these are your final scoring. So as you build the sponsor cards, they're going to fill up here, and they give you certain bonuses. The yellow you get immediately. The purple is interesting. That's an income. So every time you do a coffee phase, you'll get the money that's here, and you get any income that's on your sponsors. So this one is going to give me extra income for every monkey in my zoo. And you're going to gain an extra appeal for every monkey in your zoo. and you need to have a monkey in your zoo in order to play it. What a fantastic card this would be if I had any actual monkeys. And this is where I get frustrated with the game sometimes. Like, this is a fantastic card, but it needs to be paired with other cards, and my luck, it's a useless card for me. And then my goals don't support it either. Like, monkeys are very likely going to have the Africa symbol. So you could argue, hey, I'm going to keep this monkey card because maybe some Africa cards are going to come, and that'll help me do this. That is a viable strategy. I just don't know if that's the one I want to do here. The penguin pool is interesting. Now it requires 3 on this track here. This is your influence track. You need to be, or reputation. I'm sorry, I keep using the word influence. It's reputation. You need to be at 3 in order to play it. That's not super hard to do. It gives you a bird symbol, and it lets you place a special Tetris thing on your map, and it doesn't do anything. It's just you place it on your map, and what it helps you do is fill up your map because you get a bonus when you fill up the entire map. So that's the thing that lets you do. It has to be next to a water space, so you got to pick and choose where you go. And then every time you play a bird card, you're going to gain 2 appeal, and that's an ongoing effect. And then this symbol here means end of game. You're going to gain 1 conservation point, which is very good if you have 6 or more birds in your zoo. This one is out. The reason it's out is I don't have birds as my objective, and I don't have any birds. Well, I do have 1, but I'm not choosing it, so it's out. So really, I either try to play a longer game and hope I get a monkey, which will be an African monkey, or I'm just going to choose these 2 and be done. Now, what do these do? This one gives me an X token, which we haven't explained, but those are they can be helpful and powerful. They're basically well, here, let me explain. You have these actions here, and they have a strength to them. So this is a sponsor action that has a strength of 5. As soon as I play that, it moves down to 1. And so the actions continually move to the right as you play them. This little X lets you strengthen the action. So I could take a 5 strength action and actually make it a 6 strength action if I want, or a 4 into a 5, etc., etc. So these X tokens are really nice to have. You get 1 when you play it, and you're going to get 1 every coffee break. That's not anything to sneeze at. Those are good. They're not going to help you score points, but they do help you have some action versatility. And then here you gain 1 for every 3. If you have 3 universities in your zoo, which I usually like to do, that's these. So this fits really nicely with this strategy. And then, of course, this one you can automatically do. The moment you play this, you get a symbol, and that means you can do that one. And then that gives you another X token. And then each time you support a release into the wild conservation project, which none of these are, you gain an extra point. And you may support every release into the wild conservation project more than once, which that's an interesting one, but there aren't any release into the wild conservation projects in the game yet. So you're doing this more for the token and gaining another symbol than you are for that. So this could be an argument for why maybe you want to uncheck that one and maybe play the longer game for that. I actually think both are very viable. The only reason I take this one is because the moment I play this one's available, and I know I can play both without having to do anything else in the game. This one definitely requires me to get some draws from the card deck, which I may or may not be able to do. But I will admit and confess that this one does not help with any of this, but it does help with this here, as does this. So I know I'm spending a lot of time paralyzing over this, but I'm going to go with this, and let's just live with whatever our fate is here. Okay, so the moment I did that, the AI starts going, and this might be intimidating because, you know, that first AI took a zoo, the next AI built an enclosure, which already moved him up to here, and now it's my turn. So bam, 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 they took their turn just like that. You're like, hold on, what did they just do? I think there is a log you can go to, although I usually don't care about the log that much. Here you could see that this person earned a Europe symbol already, and in a nutshell, there's this reputation. The blue player moved up to 3, and the blue player being this person. And and you can see that here as well. You don't have to look at the track. Um, they have 2 appeal already. We actually have 3 appeal, and then this person earned an X token. They have 4 cards in their hand, and here's their score. So you can see everything laid out for you, and you can even see like what actions are at the 5 level. So these 2 are likely to play a sponsor card next. This one's likely to draw cards. So that's the information you can garner. One of these built on their zoo, and this is a great question. Can I look at somebody's zoo? Maybe if I click on, yeah, there we go. So this player, this is what their situation looks like, and I'm trying to figure out what did they do for their action. I don't know what they did for their. This is where they would go if they took a partnership. That's an interesting one. I don't know what this player did. And there's probably a log somewhere, and I apologize for. You can tell how little I care about what they do sometimes. The blue player, again, the blue player, they moved up this track. Yeah, they did nothing. Hold on. Let's go to orange player. There we go. Orange player built a size 2 facility. The green player did a partnership with the European Zoo. And you can see this is a worker placement mechanic. So they took this. And then the blue player, we know that they moved up here, but what did they do to get that done? That's very interesting. I don't know what they did to get. They basically got 2 points. Now this here gives you 2 points, but that requires placing a worker, which they didn't do. So they did something else that gave them 2 points. And the way you look at that is, oh, I'm sorry, right here. They built a size 3 facility, and chances are they covered up right here, the 2 point. They have the exact same map we do. And so they covered up a 2-pointer spot, and that's how they did it. So that makes total sense. Now let's get back to us. Okay. So the next thing that's important is obviously your actions are going to dictate what you do next sometimes, because the higher strength the action is, the better in most cases. You don't always need the highest strength, but it's generally good, and we'll get into why. The key thing to understand, though, is now this display is up, and you also have this old display we were looking at before, right? So you can see that the appeal, we're still below 5. 5, by the way, is there's some attack cards where you could hurt each other. If you're below that, those attack cards don't hurt you. It's sort of like an early game mechanic to prevent you from flipping your table. But once you're past 5, then then the attack cards are fair game. So this is just where you are on the tracks. But here's what matters. You have 1 worker to use on these actions here. These actions are all good. Every single one of them. And that action is associated with this here. It's called association. Okay, you do this action, you get to place a worker over here, and if you have no workers left, then you can't do this action anymore. And it is common for this action to get all the way up to strength 5, and there's nothing you can do because you have no workers. So one thing in the back of your head is you want to unlock your more workers, and there's 3 of them right here. Okay, so that's one thing. And it's a powerful action, because like I said, that lets you get universities. It lets you support these conservation projects. This player already went and took the European partnership, which is helping them to do this one. And then, yes, we could take an African one to help us with that. I mean, that's an option, right? And then here you get 2 reputation points, which we'll talk about in a second. And then this here, you have to upgrade your action to be able to do. All right. So, step 1, you want to unlock more workers. I'm not saying that's top priority, but it needs to be in the back of your mind. The next thing you want to do is you want to move up the conservation track, because every one of these yellow things you see here are bonuses that you get, and they're all powerful. Every one of them. And after you get to 10, there's no more bonuses. So early game, it rewards you for quickly moving up this track. This is not easy to do. The easiest way to move up this track is to support one of these projects. And if you like had 2 grazing animals, you get 2 points here, 1, 2, and then bam, this one lets you get one of these workers. The other one lets you upgrade one of your actions. Both of those are amazingly powerful. So it's something you do want to do as quickly as you can, but it's hard. But it also needs to be in the back of your mind. The next one, which is what the blue player did, is you want to move up the reputation track, because the same deal. These yellows are all bonuses. Now there's 2 bonuses that you get as you move up the track here, and then there's a wall. And you can see there's a pink bar here. You have to upgrade the card action, which you could do here. There's an upgrade action right there. But once this is upgraded, you can keep going, and every one of these is a bonus you get. So the bonuses can be very, very good. Now, one more thing. When you support these conservation projects, you get to grab what's called an income bonus. So that's what you see here. This is immediate income, so you can immediately hire a worker. You can gain 12 money, or you can get 3 of these X tokens. All that happens just from sponsoring, one of these conservation projects. So not only do you score the conservation points, but you get to immediately gain one of those. Or, instead of taking one of these immediate gains, you can take an income gain. Remember, the income happens during the coffee phase, the coffee break. And there are 4 things. One is every time there's a coffee break, you get to take a card from the display, just for free. Or you get to gain 5 money, again, for free. Or 1 conservation point, which is the all-important one here. Or you get to place a 2-size standard enclosure. They're all fantastic. It's just, you got to pick whatever works for you. Now, this is where, as you're doing your actions or whatever, you want to move up these tracks because you need to start unlocking certain things. I have found that if you don't unlock things, it puts you in this stagnation that gets you further behind other players. One of the things I want to do more than anything else in this game is upgrade my actions and at least unlock 1 other worker. I don't always unlock all 3, but I at least need 2. Because this action is so important. So let's talk about the actual game itself, or the actions. The first one here is animals. And as it says, so you can see there's a blue that pops up here and there's a pink that pops up here. So the blue is the basic action. So at strength 1, you can't play any animals, so that's why it's grayed out. Also, I don't have any animals I can play. Strength 2, I can play 1 animal, 3 and 4. And at strength 5, I can play 2 animals. That's what the action does. The pink that you see here is if I upgrade the action, that's how the action changes. So I can play animals for lower strength, and at strength 5, I gain a reputation bump, which is nice. Now, what this doesn't represent is like some of these cards, like this one, requires an animal to upgrade. So upgrading this action does more than just the pink thing. Sometimes it also impacts other things, like there's certain animal cards that require an upgraded animal action, like this. We talked about association. That lets you do any of these things, and this number here is the strength. So you have to be all the way up to 5 strength to do the conservation project. You don't have to be all the way up to 5 to do these other ones. The cards action is probably the most self-explanatory. Based on the strength level, you get to draw cards, and you get to draw a certain number, and you must discard a certain number after you finish drawing, or you could snap, and you can see the snap is at strength 5, and if it's upgraded, it's at strength 3, 4, and 5. Now the card action does add 2 coffee points. So we keep talking about how we do actions until coffee happens. When all 4 of us cause 15 coffee points to occur, then that's when the coffee break happens, and we do income and certain things. Like some of these cards are going to flush and then get replaced, and etc. etc. So the card action is what it says. So let me get to the card action. So it says draw cards from the deck or snap for basic. So the deck is right here. It's a little obscured. You're just drawing blindly from the deck. Snap is I can take any of these cards that are here, but I can only take one. So if it says draw 3, discard 1, well, that's drawing from the blind deck. But snap is I'm going to ignore all that, and I'm just going to take one of these cards. So you do that if you really want one of these cards. One of them is Savannah here, is a conservation project. So that would be a conservation project that would get added here. And this one in particular has Release into the Wild, which is exactly what this supports. So the Savannah project would help me, except I don't have any of those symbols. But basically, you make a predator, put it in your zoo, and then you release it into the wild, and you can see that you eventually can get some conservation points for that. So snap is a nice way to grab a card from the display that you want. Now, the upgraded version says the text is changed. It says draw cards within reputation range or from the deck or snap. So it adds another thing. The reputation is this. So see how blue has 3 reputation? That means that the blue player, if they had an upgraded card action, they can grab either of these cards, but they can't grab these ones. And that's just normal drawing. Like, you could draw from the deck, or you could draw from your reputation. You get to pick and choose and intermix it. Snapping is different. Snapping is you can grab any of these. It doesn't matter what your reputation is. But reputation range is part of the natural drawing. You're not always drawing blindly anymore. You can draw from the display. So it's a little more powerful. This shovel is how you build enclosures. So this requires 2 enclosure. This requires a size 5 enclosure. The enclosures are here. And this is what all the Tetris symbols look like. At level 2, excuse me, there's special enclosures, a reptile house and an aviary. But without the level 2 upgrade, these are the ones that are available. This is a special petting zoo. We could get into that a little bit later. But these are the Tetris symbols that you place on your map. As you cover these things up, you get the bonuses. You can't play an animal unless you have an enclosure for it. This is a minimum size, so I could put this animal in a size 5 enclosure. It just wouldn't be very it wouldn't be optimized. It would be a waste of space, but I can do it. I just need a minimum of size 2. Okay, so this also, the basic the amount of the size you can build is based on the strength. So it's strength 4. I could build all the way up to here. I can't build this one unless it was strength 5. Now, the upgraded build action is quite powerful. It not only lets you build these 2 special facilities, but you can divide your strength up and build multiple enclosures. So let's say it's strength 4 like this. I can do a 3 and then also do one of these 1 space enclosures all in one action. So you just have to spend up to 4. And that's very powerful because this the basic action says you build 1 and only 1 building. The upgraded action says build 1 or more up to your size of X. Whereas the basic is you build 1 with a maximum size of X. So upgrading this would let you place more of these out. And if you have any desire to complete your map, you must upgrade this. And by the way, the bonus for upgrading all this is 7 appeal. 7 tickets. Okay, and then the last one is the sponsor action. It's very simple. The strength of the sponsor action is right here. So this card requires strength 5, that one requires strength 4. You could also, instead of doing the sponsor action to play a card, you can do what's called a break, and the basic action will give you money equal to the strength. But that also adds coffee points. So, like at strength 5 here, I could take 5 money and go up to 30, but then I would add 5 coffee points to there. If it's an upgraded action, I can do the same thing where I break, but now I'm getting double the money. So I would get 10 money, and then this would still only get 5 coffee points. Um, this is why sometimes, like when you have these X points, why you might want this to be a strength 6, 7, or 8, because the higher the strength, the more it's doubled. So this is something you want to do sometimes, because sometimes you're out of money, so there's nothing you can do with these other actions. So you break to first of all get some of that money that you need, and then you're trying to get to a coffee break so we can get an income phase, right? Because that's what happens during the coffee break. All right, so it's our turn. We have a strength 5. To me, it's a very simple start. I do want to do this if I can, because these are first come first serve. Um, the year one is gone. The coffee break will replenish these. These are also first come first serve, and you do want to do it, but I just unfortunately don't have a strength association. I got to play these other cards, other actions first, and let this move up. So I'm going to do the sponsor one, and yeah, I'm going to play this, and it's going to give me an X token. I'm going to get an X token for every coffee break, which is really great to have in the beginning. And then it rewards me for having universities, which is this thing over here. So I'll do that. And then boom, my turn's over. Now, the card will be here, so you can always see. And then also, I gained a research token, which you're seeing popped up here. So this will start filling in as we gain those tokens. And right now, nothing really needs a research token except for this. But it's not uncommon to have sponsorships or conservative or even endgame scoring that rewards you for them. It's just, luck of the draw. And then you hit end turn when you're done, or you could always, rewind your turn. The only time this is not an option is if you're drawing from the deck. Obviously, you can't rewind once you've seen the cards. So, boom, that's my action. And I'm going to pause real quick, and then I'll come back and we'll end the turn. Okay, so I'm back. I'm going to hit the end turn here. And when I do, well, actually, it already happened. The action I did moved to the one spot, and all the other actions shifted up. And then we'll see what the AI does here. So he gained a partner zoo. He played an animal. Yeah, it definitely happens quick. Is there a log that I'm just somehow missing? I don't think so. But you can see, so his income is now 10. So blue, first turn did this, and then did that. So this came because blue played a enclosure, and then they put an animal in it. So let's see how it says occupied. Then the physical copy, they would, you flip it over. So it's an occupied enclosure, and you can see that they have this animal here, which required a 3-space enclosure, and they gained 4 ticket points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see how that all played out. They also gained a coveted Africa symbol and a bird symbol, which you can see here. Now I'm going to flip back to myself, and you can see that represented there. So you can see that this person went for Europe. This person has one of the Africa ones. And then what's interesting is this one went for a America one, which I'm assuming is because they're planning on playing an animal. Because you can see up here, they have a 2 spot that they haven't filled yet, and maybe a requirement for their animal is they need to have an America symbol. So it's not always about the, focusing on these, but that is something you should never lose track of. Now, we have to do a build action, and this is something where I think, want to do a similar thing. So now the problem is I can only build one thing, and a size 2 something is not the best in the world for a strength 5 action. But it's either that or I build a strength 5 and then, don't play that animal, which I don't think that's a good play either. So we're going to do the action. I will do a size 2 facility, and I can come in on any of the edge. But once I come in, all the rest of the stuff has to connect. Now, I could... money is important in the beginning of the game, and there's 2 opportunities for money right at the edge of the board. But this is also a really nice grab. Now here, I could do this grab and then later come back and get this. And you can see why. Because if I can get here, I can upgrade an action. Upgrading an action early, very helpful. If I can get to here, I unlock a worker, which is one of the things I told you I want to be able to do. So the question is do I want the 2 points now? Or am I willing to wait a little bit and I can at least get 5 money and 2 points later? I'm going to go do the similar to what the other AI bot did. We're going to do the 2 points now. And I'm looking at my situation. I don't need to be near 2 sets of water. So I am going to move it this way. So I'm not necessarily taking... this one requires 2 sets of water. So I probably would put... No, you know what? I am going to do this. Because now I can place the facility for this guy down here. So there we go. So I'm going to do this. It is, the cost is $2 per size. So I'm going to pay $4. I'll be down to 21. And then you can see I got my 2 bump here for covering that. And that's setting us up so when we play the animal action, we can put this guy out and get some stuff done. So there we go. End our turn. That guy just did a card action. This one did a card action. And so did that one. So we're already at 11 out of 15. Now, I also have a possible card action I can do. What's interesting is you got 1 hunter, 2 predators. There's the predator thing. These 3 sort of have synergy, but I don't have an easy way to draw them. Here's a nice way to get an Africa symbol, but you need to have a whole bunch of lizards. Reptiles. There's an Asia symbol, America symbol, and this constriction is one of the attack cards. I'm going to skip the card action because I don't want to bring us closer to coffee break yet. I do want to get an association and this out first. So let's do the association first. This is critical. I want one of these. Now, I can take the one that lets me upgrade a card action. If I do this, that lets me move up 2. But I'm going to do this one. It only moves me up 1, but it increases my hand size to 5. When you go to break, you have to reduce your hand size to 3. And I want to go ahead and take this. Now, it wasn't quite far enough that I wanted to upgrade this action, but it's still good enough. And if I grab another university later, I get to upgrade an action again. And if I get all 3 universities, I can gain 2 of those precious conservation points. Alright, so that brings me to the end, and I just gotta hope that we don't hit 15 here. Let's see what they do. Okay, that guy just built a size 3 facility, another size 3 facility. And you can see they covered up. And then this one took a university, which moved us up twice. And now one of these actions is going to get upgraded, and you can see they upgraded their build action. Okay, so we got this, but let's play our animal first. And it does, by the way... I'm going to back up. When I hover over animal action, see how this gets like a shimmer around the edge, telling you can play that card. It's pretty cool. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to play this card for $17. And it has to go there, so it selects it for you. And then, basically, you can hit resolve all, or you can do them one at a time. So, I am going to get my 1 reputation that I wanted anyways. So, let's do that one first. And then, boom, I get to upgrade an action. Which one do I want to upgrade first is the real question. I think like this one's always the nicest because remember I was at strength 5 and I built a size 2 and then I had to stop. It's nice to be a 5 because then you can build these other facilities along with it. But with that being said, with me rapidly moving up this, I do want to upgrade my card action, and that allows me to draw from here. The card action is a good one to have. Uh, so in terms of early play, the card and the shovel are the two nice ones, but that doesn't mean the other ones aren't good. It's at the end of the day, you want to upgrade all of them. Um, this is a difficult choice because you're choosing a worker or an upgrade. But typically in a game, you're going to get to upgrade 4 out of the 5, and you're picking which one of these you're not going to do the upgrade on. Usually, it's the sponsor one for me, but that's not always the case either, because sometimes some of these sponsor cards require... Now, which one am I going to do first? I'll do the card one. And then here, I'm just going to... So we can follow along at home, right? We're going to move up to 13. Or, I'm sorry, 8. I was counting the wrong number. And then this is a special thing that the card gives you, digging 3. So I'm going to discard a card from the display and replenish, or discard one from my hand and draw from the deck. So I'm going to, for example, I don't care for this. We'll just go ahead and do that one and confirm. So now we got another grazer, which that one's a... See, that requires animal too, which is another upgrade that's nice to get. Yeah, so I'm just going to keep getting rid of these. There's another predator. And yeah, I'll get rid of that one too. And there's another one of those sponsor cards that we're looking for. So there we go, I'm done. He just did an animal card. This one's also doing an animal. And you can see they're getting their little symbols. And their tickets are going up. And so is their income. You can see, track all that there. We actually have the best income right now for the coffee break. And he just did a sponsor card. Alright, so I now have this, which I think I'm going to do. Now, we could grab this with a snap, or we could draw 4 and keep 1, or discard 1. So that would let me draw 3 more, and I'd have my hand limit of 5. Also, I could grab within reputation range, so I can get this one, and even one of these, like this one here. This one only costs size 1, 11 money. I already have the research. I can put this one in, and then release it. And the problem is I have to release at least 3 to get the middle one. But 2 or less would let me at least get the basic one. And that's 3 conservation points. The problem is playing this card, yeah, there's a lot of things that need to happen, but it's not a bad deal to... Yeah, let's do this. Alright, so I get to draw 4 cards. So this is going to be one of them. This is going to be the second one. Now, I could keep drawing, right? This is only a 7 cost one, and so between this one with 11 and that one for 7, I can release both into the wild and then have at least 2 towards the 3 and 4 bonus. Here's the problem when you release them. You get these symbols like that continent and that continent there. They do go away when you release them, and you also lose your appeal bonus. So it's like it's cool and all, but it's also frustrating. So my plan is I just want 1, and then I'm going to take the 3 points here. Now my sponsor card lets me do this one more than once. So if I do get up to 4, I can claim both of these. Normally you can only claim 1 per card, and then the other players get to do the others. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of drawing this, I'm just going to go here and here, and now I have to discard a card. So I ended up getting one of these, which is another sponsor card, which is really nice. This is my discard I want. And there we go. And now we're at 15. I just caused a break. Everything replenishes. The back card cycles. Everything fills in and moves down. And now what we're doing is we're going through the income. And he's already taken his turn. So I grabbed 11 income. You can see he got 2 conservation points. So this guy is... Yeah, this is an interesting one. You just need one predator and a partner zoo of the same continent. That's an interesting one. That's maybe a little better than this one even. Okay, so we have sponsors up to level 5. I definitely want to get a sponsor out. This one is not urgent. I actually like this one better, so let's go ahead and do that one. Alright, so first thing we do is we're going to place a hyena compound. Now, it's got this shape and you can place it however you like. So like one of the things, I can grab 10 income and get this, and I'm still connected to that. It does restrict what I can place elsewhere, or I can, jam it along the side, but I do want that 10 income, so let's go for it. And then, yeah, that puts us to 25 money, which is fantastic. And then we get to draw a card from the deck or within our reputation range. So this is where we could actually go and grab this one, or that one. So this is an interesting one. In this case, I could play this card first, use the predator and take credit, right? As long as I have the matching continent. I have to have this right here. I can put my token here, and then this card is done. I can't put any more on this card unless I want to use this special ability, right? So that's one thing. And in fact, this is a first come first serve, so I can grab the leftmost one, which is the best. Then I can place this one and release it into the wild, and that doesn't cancel this, because once you took the credit for this, if you no longer meet the requirement, it doesn't matter. And then I can get credit for this one. It's not a bad strategy, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that guy right there. And then this is just saying, every time I reveal, I play one, and I get the... So basically, I drew a card, and if it was an animal, I could keep it. And that's not the case here. Alright, so then I'm done, and everything shifts down. And here you can see they drew cards again, and we're back up to 6. So yeah, the game could go quick. Alright, so now I'm shifting here. Like, I wanted to build this, but I can't. I don't have the animal 2. I do have the money, but what I'm going to do is we're going to build again. I only need a size 1 enclosure, which is interesting. This lets me move an action to 1. Or I can do this. Which one do I want to do? I'm going to do this one first. And we're going to grab another university. I know I could do this, and I need to. But we're going to grab a university first, because that's going to let me move up closer to here and upgrade an action. Let me think about this. I could get a conservation project. Like, look, they already put one out. I'm going to back up. That is a good strategy. Now, why would I want to do that? Well, first of all, I get to upgrade one of my actions. So that's valuable. Secondly, I get to move up 2 more on this track. So now I have all these cards I can choose from. And that gets me ever closer to unlocking a worker. The other thing that's in my mind is if I can play one of these 2 cards, and I'm thinking about, oh no, I can't do that one. That's going to take me multiple... You know, we're going to go back to our original strategy. We're going to do the university. I'm going to take the 2 points there. And then we're going to upgrade one of our actions. So which one do we upgrade now? We upgraded the card already. We know here I need to upgrade animal, which is not a bad deal. Upgrading the association. This action here is, it's a first come first serve, and you put cubes on these. So the first time you do this action, it costs you 2 money, you get a conservation point. And then you can see the cost goes up to 5, and then 7, and then 10, and then eventually it settles on 12. So if I took this right away, and I'm the first person to do it, for real cheap, I can bump this up quite a bit. And it's a free thing, so it means I can take one of these other ones and do this. But is that the one I want now? See, this is a strength 5. I'm going to upgrade this one. Go ahead and end the turn. You can see you got up to 10. There, he's taking an animal. And then, so you built. This one just upgraded the animal action. And took a university. I'm going to go ahead and do this. To be able to place this, I need a size 1 facility. So let me think about that. To place this one, I need a size 5, and it needs to be next to 2 water. So one of the things I have to accommodate is I don't want to screw that up, per se. And that'll accomplish it. No problem. It'll also spend 10 of my money, and it won't let me build this. So that's my issue. So I'm going to back up, and back up one more, and show you the value of using this. So I'm going to use this, and make this a 6 strength. So now, I'm going to put this in, like so. Can I rotate this a different way and still get... Yes, that's better. That leaves this more open. Alright, I get my X back, and then I get to draw a card, and I can draw any of these again. I can go after these predator cards, which, you know, I do have a lot of... I could potentially take all 3 of these with this card ability. I also have the ability to take, like, Expert on Asia, or this Water Playground. And now these aren't necessarily awesome cards, but they do help me towards this goal of getting 10. So I want all of these, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and... So the wolf pack gets me 1 for each other one in my zoo. I like them all, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and take that one. I think that's a good card. And then, yes, I could still build one more for size 1, and that's what this is going to accomplish. And you have to cram it in somewhere, right? Let's move this up a little. I think maybe I want to put it there. I'll put it down here. And then go ahead and end my turn. That spent a lot of my money. This was $10 and that was 2 more for 12. So always got to be mindful that building these enclosures is not free. Alright, so now I got animal. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to play the Tasmanian Devil here. Put it right there. And then here you can see I'm going to grab 4, which gets my income up. I'm going to grab 1 more of this, which just unlocked a worker. So now I have 2. That means I can do this action twice. And another thing to understand is you can't do the same action twice. So I can't grab that university. My worker prevents me from doing this action again. What's this one? Oh, I can just get rid of a card to get 2 ticket value. And we'll go ahead and do this. So I could just take one of these. And remember, I'm going to get rid of a card. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that one. It's a great grazing card, but we're going to do this. And I get to get rid of one of these. And I'm going to get rid of this one. They're both really hard to play, but I got the enclosure for this built. So we'll go ahead and do that, and that gives me 2 more tickets. That wasn't a bad turn. My income went up. Was able to accomplish quite a bit here. And I got my second predator out there, so that's helping me to do this, because I have my worker now, and I need to have an association at strength 5. We're almost at a coffee break, so we'll see what happens here. Here you can see they did a sponsor. This one did an animal. And that one's doing a build. So we're good. So I could do a card draw. I don't need to. I'm at 5 cards right now. The sponsor one, of course, is always good. This is when you release an animal, which I don't need at this exact moment. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 2 of these, because I want to get this out there as soon as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and do this at strength 5. I have the worker right here. Oh, I need the... Okay. Back up, back up. I need to have the partner zoo. Right? So, I have 2 animal cards. This one requires that partner zoo. So, at strength 3, that's good enough. I only need strength 3 to do that, so let's do it. And we're going to go ahead and grab that partner zoo, which will go here. And so we're good to go there. All that is a prerequisite to be able to play this card, because I need to have this plus this, and then I can play this card and grab the leftmost one. And the beauty is when you play the card, you get to immediately put a token on it. So the other players don't even know I have this in my hand. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and end turn. I'm down to 2 money, so I don't mind the coffee break, but I want to use my workers before that coffee break comes, if I can. So here you can see he just grabbed a card. So I have this, which will help us move to a coffee break, but I'm going to go ahead and play another card first. Let's get the sponsor out there. I guess gave me another token. And you can always see your cards here. And then this is helping us for when we release in the wild. It's more longer term objective, but it still works. Played an animal. He's going to play possibly a card. So that's going to move this to 14. And he just did a sponsor. So I'm going to trigger the coffee break by playing this. Alright, so I can only keep 5 cards. So I can draw 4, discard 1. But I think this is a great opportunity to snap, which is, you could grab any of these. The sponsor one, this one is only nice because it would give me 4 tickets, and it's called appeal, but I always call it tickets. I could grab this one over here. So you have to be less than 25 tickets to play this. You gain 1 for each research in your zoo. And for each one you gain this way, all other players get 2 money. So it helps everybody, but getting the conservation points is pretty valuable. I actually really like that one. Probably more than that one. This one is not helpful at all. It's just minorly helpful. Looking at the animals here, Obviously, this one would help with our cards, but I actually like this one, so I'm going to go ahead and snap it. Largely because I can't keep more than 5 anyways, and we're going into a coffee break. And there we go. So now they replenish, the cards replenish. We got one of these. We gained our income, and now they're taking their turn. The game flies. You're not spoon-fed all the time what's happening, but just trying to help you to see what happens. One more thing about university. You can't have the same ones more than once. So the fact that I took this one, I couldn't have taken that other one. So the only one I can take now is this top one. Now if another player takes it, then it's not available for me, and too bad, too sad. Alright, there's a gorilla thing that would have been nice, but there's still no gorillas on the board. So here we got another build. I only have 16 money, so I got to be careful with this particular action if I do it. If I spend all 5, that's 10 of my money. I'll be down to 6. So none of these animals are going to cost me 6. This one is a 12. But it needs a size 4 facility. Ugh, what do I do? I can't do that one. Because I'm upgraded, I could do an aviary or a reptile house, but I'm really not. It doesn't suit my my playstyle. I could beef this up and do this right away. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to 5, and let's get this out of the way right off the bat. So we're going to do an association task, and it's saying I can play one of these cards. I'm going to play this one. And I'm going to choose this one here for the support. And it'll eventually go here, but it's asking me what bonus I want. Now, my experience has been that if it's early in the game, which I believe this is, and you can tell it's early because these markers aren't anywhere close to those, you should take an income one. If it's later in the game, you should take these. And the only thing that would compel me to take one of these early is that worker. Getting another worker is powerful, but I was able to get it by going up this track. So the money is always, always helpful. This is a great way to fill up your board, especially if you don't upgrade your build action. So you're basically getting a free build in every coffee break. This, of course, is a nice way to constantly get cards. But I think, the name of the game is points, and this is a difficult track to move up. I was able to move up, as you could see, or I'm going to be able to, because I'm playing this. But I'm going to take the conservation point. So every time we do a coffee break, I get to move up a point. That's powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then, as you can see, I get 2 conservation points just for doing this, and I'm going to get 2 of the reputation. So let's do the reputation first. And remember, I upgraded the card action so I could do this, and this lets me grab a card from here. Now I have this set up ready to go. I could actually grab this one to get another sponsor card. This one is specific to small animals. I do have a few. Or I can just draw blind. The expert on Asia. I do have one Asia symbol. It's not super helpful. The reason you take this is just because I'm trying to go for this. And by the way, this is what I love about the app. It highlights that I've already accomplished this, and it tells you where you are on the tracks. I'm sort of torn here. This one would take a strength 5 action. It might be a little more helpful. And it reduces the cost of small animals by 3. Yeah, let's grab that one. I think I just like that one more. And then, yeah, this is where it gets fun. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 1. And then, of course, the last one is 2 more. So now I get to do one of these bonuses. So I could grab another worker. or upgrade an action. And I don't know what people generally want to do in this situation, but upgrading the action to me is what I always want to do. And I'm looking at my situation, and this requires a upgraded animal, so I think that's what I want to do. Although I am in the middle of doing this action, which would let me do this. You know what? Crap. It gets harder and harder to upgrade things if I don't do it in the right order. This here requires association, so if I get more partnerships, I can't go into the purple zone unless I upgrade this. So upgrading this has more benefits than just what you see over here. The animal action, of course, lets me do this. I want to do both. That's the honest answer. So I got to step back and ask myself, how am I going to... Well, it's simple. If I just get another one of these, I get to upgrade another action. So I could upgrade this one, for example, later. But like right now, if I do it for $2, I get another conservation point, and it's getting me... Remember, I told you, you want to move up this track to at least get to 10 or 8, so you can get these bonuses. Some of these bonuses are first come, first serve. Once you pick them, the other players get a smaller choice. I can't afford this anyways.
We have 5 volts.
Because he's 19. Alright, I'll do this one. It's not letting me do it. I guess I had to be upgraded before I took the action. Alright, I thought that by taking that, I was going to get to do this free action down here, because that is the action I just did. All of this was a result of playing that card, but that's okay. If I was playing it at home, I would have interpreted it the other way and played the game wrong. Okay. So again, I have the build action. I don't have a lot of money. Right now, the only enclosure I have built is for this guy. I mean, I could always build another one, but that's not necessarily what I want to do. I have multiple sponsors I could try to get out. This one is an interesting one. I currently have 3 research, so I would get to bump 3 more times on this. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade it to a 5 and play this. And here you can just see I moved up 3 more. And I get to take one of these bonuses. I can take $5 now, which would help me towards this. I get to draw 3 cards. I'm going to gain the university, because that saves me one of these actions. And it automatically took it, because this is my last university. And by doing so, I covered up a 2, so I gained 2 more conservation points, and now I got the next reward. And so you can see how it feeds on itself. Like, I could get one of these for free, but I'm going to go ahead and do this one. And now you can see I'm moving up twice on this track. And I get another conservation point, so now I'm up to 9. And you can also see how the options got removed for the other players. So a lot of nice combos and synergies. Also, I completed all 3 universities, which at the end of the game is going to get me 3 more points. So very, very helpful. The thing I really liked is I was able to grab a university without having to spend a worker. You can see there, hot commodity. Okay, so I currently don't have the money to deploy all these animals. Obviously, this one requires a fixture that I don't even have built. So let's do that. Let's at least build the fixture, even if I can't afford to deploy the animal. I am at 5 strength, so that'll help get rid of it. This requires a 4 fixture. I do love that it shows there's only really 2 places you can put it. And so, another thing to point out is you can't go here unless you have an upgraded action, which we do. I want to grab these 2, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so that costs 4, and then I can do 1 more. So I can do a size 1 fixture, or I can do a kiosk, which gives me 1 extra income money for every adjacent building. Except for empty standard enclosures. And they have to be 3 spaces away, or I can just gain a ticket. Now remember, the tickets are less lucrative as you move up. So I'm at 14. 1 ticket would give me 1 extra income. But I'm going to go ahead and do this. And the issue here is it has to be, it's most valuable if it's next to a lot of things. So this one would be next to 2. Because this one is 1, and this is 2. This would also be next to 2. I'll go ahead and do that one. Both of those are already full. And then I get to move an action to 1. I've already told you I can't afford to do an animal, so I'm actually going to move that one down. So that shifts everything another. And I got my association back up to 4. I got another worker here. I don't think I can do this again, because the worker's already there. But I can grab one of these, which will help me to upgrade another action. So here they're doing a sponsor. They're also doing a sponsor. They built an exhibit. And this one's doing a card, so looks like they did a snap. Alright, so we can do a card action, which is not horrible. There's an interesting one. Expert on Africa is a nice synergy with this. She even gives you a nice bonus there. There is an African animal here we could try for, but it does require an African. But I think what I'm going to do is, I'm already at 4. I can't do either of these, but I can do it at a 3, so let's get that out there. Let's grab one of these, and of course, the easy ones have been taken. So let's go ahead and do Africa, since we're seeing a lot of Africa out there. I don't have either Europe or Africa at the moment. Now, the animal symbols, this is animal category icons. So I have 1, 2, I don't know, maybe I have 3 if you count these. I don't know if the continents count as animal categories. I'd have to look that up. But anyways, let's go ahead and grab an Africa. And here I get to upgrade an action. So I'm going to upgrade my animal action, which is something we've been wanting to do. And now everything's been upgraded except for the sponsor action. Alright, so now it's asking me, do I want to make a donation? And the answer is yes. So for $2, it let me move up. And now we have to pay attention, because sometimes it's asking you what cards you want to keep. This time it's asking, what card do you want to discard? I'm going to discard this one, because I've been working hard on this, and I already got at least one portion of it fulfilled. And then they had to discard 2. We don't know what cards they have, but... well, actually, maybe we do. No, they're secret. So here you can see they claimed one of these. Claiming these is a big deal. Alright, I'm low on money. I probably could use a coffee break. So I will do a card action here. I have no workers left. There's really nothing I can do here. I do have a sponsor that just needs 1 more, but we're going to go ahead and do the card action. Now, I only have room for 1 more card, and I do really like this one, so I'm going to go ahead and snap Or no, I don't have to snap. This is just a draw. Because my reputation is all the way up to here. This is an interesting one. Doesn't really fit our gameplay. This one, also an interesting one. Actually, it has both symbols that we're looking for. Let's grab that one. So that's 2. And then I think I'm just going to do... Oh no, look. Each time one of those is played, gain $3. Yeah, that's 3. And then let's just draw this for 4. Now I have to discard one, and this is where it gets interesting. I drew a whole bunch of good cards. I don't know if I necessarily care about this one. And another thing I'm not sure is maybe I don't care about this one anymore. Although it's nice to get one out there. All of these are fantastic. This one. If I have 9 reputation, which I'm way past 9, I get a point at the end of the game, and it lets me hire a worker. But see, this one right here requires me to have this action upgraded, which it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and discard that because I can't play it. Alright, so they're playing their stuff. And some of them are, you can clearly tell, are doing better than me. Because look, these all the way up to 20. Alright. We definitely want to play a sponsor, right? Now, which one is the priority? So this is a really good one, because we do have some of these to play. This one, I already have one Africa in my zoo. And it puts in parentheses how many you're going to get. So I have one in my zoo, and it's going to count the one that she provides as well. That's why it shows 2 tickets in parens. So I would gain 2 tickets for playing this. And then it lets me place any action on 1. And of course there's her, which she's more of just trying to accomplish this. So which one do I want to do? I feel like either of these is more immediate. This one's they're both only strength 4, whereas this is the opportunity to play the strength 5 one. It is showing in parentheses that I have 2 tickets. So I could play this now and get the same number of tickets as I would get here. By playing her, I would have 2 of the Africa, but as you can see, I need a lot more than 2 because the 2 was already taken. I tend to believe that this is the more valuable one, because if I want to play this or this, and I've been building up to be able to play this card for the whole game so far. So let's go ahead and get this one out there. I did get $3 for it, and yeah, there we go. You can see they're way ahead of us. Green is way out here and not doing bad there. So green right now is currently closest to triggering the end game here. I need a coffee break because I need income. Although I just got 3 more money. Oh, you know why? This is, if anybody plays one of those animals, I get $3. Anybody. So I'm getting $3 when they're doing it too. That's very interesting. Alright, so we can play an animal, which I can now afford to do 2 different animals here. This one's only a size 2, so I want to build a size 2 enclosure before I do that. I could build now, but the moment I do, I'm spending my money and then I can't afford the animals. So I think the better play is to do the animal. I am going to make it strength 5, and the reason being is it gives me a reputation, so I get to move up this track. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. That lets me take a card. So looking at the cards here, there's our first monkey. There's another one. There's one of those predators. I'm not interested in any of these. Maybe this guy. See, that lets me get Europe. He's like the same as this expert on Africa. The problem is I want sponsors, but I only get to do the action one so many rounds. So I don't know if I want to keep taking these. I could also wait, and then he'll just shift down. Let's just grab a regular card. Alright, so now let's play an animal. And can't quite afford him, but let's get the wolf pack out. We do have room right here. That also gave me a Europe. So let's gain our 4 appeal. So I'm finally up to 16 there. This one, I get to draw cards and keep one. Now this is an interesting one. It helps me towards this and gives me one of the monkey symbols, although that's a gone conclusion thing, but we'll go ahead and grab that. I forgot to mention that so the petting zoo uses animals that have the petting zoo. There was a card we could have chosen that had petting zoo written on it. It was a petting animal. So the way this works is when you put petting animals in, like normally when you put an animal in an enclosure, it takes the entire enclosure. This lets you put 3 animals in. So you can put 3 petting animals in the same enclosure. So it's, and that's the thing with these, like the reptile house has 5 spaces on it, so you can put 5 reptiles in there. Sometimes even more, because some reptiles take 0 space. And here's the same thing with the aviary. And some animals take more space than just 1. Do I have an example here for you? So this is an aviary that only takes 1. Here we go, right here. So this is a reptile. So you can see he either requires a 3 size enclosure, or he'll take up 2 spaces in the reptile enclosure. That's what that 2 means right there. Okay, here you can see I'm out of money, so it's not letting me do actions. I'm out of money, I'm out of workers. There's only one more for the break. What I could do is do this instead of playing a sponsor and do a break action and get double the money. So that would give me $4, or I can make it $6. That would help me with my money situation. Or I can grab cards, which I don't want because I'm already too many cards to begin with. Unfortunately, I would like to sponsor and just play one of these, but I am 1 short. I can always do this action, which just gives me an X token and lets me move an action to 1. It's like a pass. You pass, but you get to move one of these actions to 1, and then you gain an X token. Yeah, my issue is I'm 1 short. I'd love to be able to play one of these. And then this, it'll get me to the break, but it doesn't help me at all. A part of me is thinking I should do this. Because if by some miracle it gets back to my turn, I can then play this. Yeah, let's do it. We'll move that down. Sorry about that. Alright, so I'm over my limit. I gotta discard 2. This is where it gets tough, because I gotta decide what am I going for. I have a feeling someone's gonna beat me to this, but there is another grazing animal, 2 of them. So I think I'm gonna have to get rid of the Africa one. Alright, you know what? This is becoming no longer a priority, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that one. So that's 1, but what's the other one gonna be? The small animal helps me with my this. I feel like I gotta get rid of the Africa one, even though see, this is 1 for each Africa symbol in all zoos. um, including other people's zoos. I don't know why it's only showing a 2. I have 1 in mine. He has 1. I guess it is. I don't know how somebody claimed that. Alright, so I'm getting rid of the savannah. What's the other one I'm going to get rid of? It could be this one, but I spent so much time. I'm going to go ahead and do this, even though I don't want to. You know, to be honest, if I wasn't trying so hard for this, this is the one that would go. Man, this is tough. I gotta pick one. Getting to 4 of these is really hard. Although if I would have kept it, I would have been able to get the 2, 3. I would have been able to do it. But right now I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 of these. Alright, so moving up this track is just points from here on out. So it's not necessarily going to unlock a bonus anymore. And we're just doing income phase. So that was just... And then now they're taking their turn. And you can see they're grabbing those universities right away. And then they also took one of these. See, look. They're gobbling up the money spots. Alright, I get to do this. So if I choose this, and you can see, I actually have 2. So I can take one of those. Take this spot. Because I have... I think it's this one. You may support every release into the wild... Oh, it's only the release into the wild projects, which I just got rid of.
Do it faster.
So I can't, support these more than once. I totally misunderstood that. I thought I could, go here a second time. So it's letting me go here, which would give me 2 conservation points. Or I could wait to deploy these, and I can actually go all the way up to 5. I think I want to change my mind on that. But that doesn't mean, though, that I shouldn't go here. So, for example, I can grab... I already have an Africa. Let's just grab another Europe, right? Because you need that at some point. Then that just unlocked another character. And if I can get to this one, I get 2 more. So, so because this was strength 5, I can actually grab 2 more points here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I got a conservation point. And another X. Then everyone after this, I gain an appeal, which is fantastic. Now, I could spend $7. My money is low, so I'm going to pass on that, and I'm going to decline. And my turn. I have all these workers, so... Right, you can see there's some building going on. I have card play I could do. I'm looking to see if card play is my... I actually want to get this going. Do I want to get the Africa one out now, or this one? I want to do that one. So I'm going to play... Add 1 strength. Get my sponsor out. We moved up on this track. And you can see I made it to 6. And what that did was that reduced the cost of smaller animals. So some of these costs got reduced. Like this one used to be 7, now it's 4. So gobbling up those universities. Oh, somebody put this one out there. I didn't even realize that. You can see green is still... Green has got a lot of animals in their zoo. Alright. So this will let me play 2 animals. Um, I want it to be strength 5 so I could at least get an extra ticket. So I could also grab cards. What's the right order here? If I grab the cards, then I don't have to spend one of these. There's no card in particular that's jumping out at me like I gotta grab. Um, so this is very specific to having mountain. Just because you're next to the rocks, that doesn't mean anything. You need an animal that actually has, like, see how like that has water? There's some animals that have the rock symbol next to them. There's none up here that I can show you. But this geologist is giving you tickets for every 2 of those rock symbols you have in your zoo. So it's a nice synergy if you have animals that use rocks. Like this is another one. You need to have 4 research. I have 5. And I gain 2 each time I support a conservation project, which is this. And then I just gain 1 conservation every time we do income. That's pretty powerful. Alright, I'll go ahead and do this. We're going to grab that one for sure. And then I think I'm just going to go 2, 3, 4. Then we got to get rid of one of these. This one is useless. The only reason this would be helpful is because we want to do this. But that's also useless. So, actually that gives us a Europe if I ever want to... You can't do everything in this game. That's the one thing. That one actually is pretty nice, because we do have a few of these in our zoo. I'm going to keep this just because of this objective, but it would be the next one to go. So you can see there's people moving up there. And green is just moving up the chain here. They're still moving up. Okay, so now we got a animal action. We definitely want to do it. We're going to gain a ticket because we hit the cap there. I have 20 bucks. I can build 2 animals. I got to be careful here. Oh, crap. I only have room for 1. This one. So we're going to go ahead and get the big guy out that we've been... And this gives us $3 back, which is good. This gives us another point. We're going to go ahead and gain 9 on this track, which was excellent. And then digging. So we could discard from here and replace it, or from here. We'll go ahead and discard. So you can see we got another one. I don't like any of these, so we'll go ahead and... And last one. So we got some new ones out. I don't know if they were any better, but it doesn't matter. So you can see the bunch of card actions were done. So now we have this. So I do have some animals that I can build for 4, but they require size 2 enclosures at $2 each, and that's my issue. I only have $4. So I can build 1 size 2 enclosure, but not 2. I also have this particular action, which I can go here and get 2 conservation points. However, I already went there, so I can't do that. Can't do this one either. I would have to get up to 5. I will go ahead and do that. And here you can see I can do the 2. I'm up to 3. Ah, come on. I was hoping I could do one of these other ones. I'm gonna undo the turn here. Let's go back. Let's maybe do this. We have the lions. Right now I get $6 every time we do a coffee break. That's fantastic. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Does that give me some tickets? Got a lot more income. Gotta think about what I'm doing next here. This is something I do need to do. I just wanted to be more efficient. I wanted more money somehow. I don't think I can pull that off, though. Yeah, see, green's going to town there. I think I'm going to have to do this. Let's go ahead and get a size 2 built. This is a nice one that would give me some money. This one, though, will give me 2 more of those, which is 2 more tickets. And so you can see I'm bumping up 2 there, which I always need. And I would love to do more, but it put me out of money. And being out of money is preventing me from playing those. I'd like to get this in. You can see I get conservation every break. Oh, dang it. We just went into break. I was hoping to get one more turn. We don't have that many breaks left. I'm not even up to green here. I do have nice money, though. Alright, so I need to get more enclosures. I have a 2 spot, but I want to be able to build 2 animals at once. So this one for 2 and that one for 2 as well. So it'd be nice to play some actions. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to go ahead and grab one of these. And there's only 2 continents left. I have to decide, am I going to do Asia or America? And I don't know what the criteria is here for the different symbols, but I already have an Asia. So let's go for America. That gives me 2 points here. At least catches me up to green. And then I can choose to do this for $7, which I do have now. Let's do this one first. It gives me 2 tickets. And then, yeah, I'll go ahead and spend the $7. That moves me 1 more. We're nearing the end of the game, folks. As much as I would like this income here, there's only a few more coffee breaks left. We do have, we can always do a card draw, I guess. So some of these, like the side entrance is interesting. You put a special thing on your board and then it gives you extra income. It's not bad at all. There's a lot of variety in the cards. That's what makes this game so interesting. We also have one of these, which requires a strength 6. But it plays into this game, which... Ooh, what's that one? That requires an aviary in a partner's, so somebody snuck another one in. But see, this one requires 5. I'm on track to already get 5. The reason I'm looking at these is because I'm thinking of playing the card action. But I think what I want to do instead is I'm just going to bump it up 1, and we're going to do the animal action. That 1 bump just gave me an extra ticket, which I'm happy with. Oh, hold on. I need to do a build first. Back up. I just need a strength 2. Let's get another one of these bad boys out here. That one will give me 5 money. And it's also next to water. I'll take it. Go ahead and end my turn. Now I can build both of these. Which is what I want to do. The coffee breaks. Doing okay. See, green's getting close. Blue is still way back here. But green is close. And technically I am too, but not as close as green. And green just surged ahead again. Look at this. Yeah, green's going to be triggering that end game soon. So let's get both of our animals out. That moved me up one. This is actually going to help me a lot. As you see, I'm moving up 6 here. And then we're going to do this one, which triggers all kinds of stuff. Let's do the 4 appeal first. So you can see I'm moving up. I'm not quite where green is. This one gives me the $3 back, and then this one attacks everybody. So they all got attacked. And if we go to my animal, this one, see it has venom. Each player ahead of you on the appeal track gains a venom token. And then you can see up in the middle of the screen at the top, put a venom token on the action card in the lowest slot of each affected player. They have to pay $2 if they use any other action until that venom token is removed. And it's in the 1 spot. So if they want to do any of these actions, they're going to have to spend $2. And then this goes away when they finally do the actual action. Alright, so then I get to perform a sponsor's action, it looks like. So I would like to do this one. Can I boost it? Yes, I can. And I got to do that because of this card here. That lets me perform the sponsor action, which was awesome. Because we're running out of turns, and I wanted to do that just as much as anything else. I actually want to play this one right away, too. This one is only going to help me with this goal. But actually, I do want to play both. And I'm going to go ahead and end my turn. Oh, look at that. I afflicted opponents with venom 5 times. This is a fantastic board game. I'd buy a physical copy, but I don't think my gaming group would be... I think I can think of like one person in my gaming group would enjoy it. My son, both of my sons would enjoy it, but they're both at college. So gaming with them is few and far between. So it would be nice to replenish my hand with cards. I am running out of things to do. I don't have any animal cards to play. Obviously this action is... I'm a far cry away from being able to fill up my board. I still have $20, which is good. I would love to play these as much as possible, but I'm only at 1. Sure, let's go ahead and do the card action. And then I can start grabbing more of these. Like this one is attractive, but I don't need it. I'm well on my way. I already have 5. Actually, because I have 5, I want to do this. We're going to go here. And we're going to choose that guy. And then I get to take a bonus. So this is coffee bonuses, remember? Or I can do this, which is immediate. Now, the only immediate bonus here would be to get this, because then I get 2 conservation points. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, which gives me 2 bumps on the conservation. Oh, guess who just triggered the final round? That was me. Look at that. So this is now the final round. So when this goes to 15, we are done. I totally didn't realize that. So with that being said, I definitely want to donate. That moves me 1 more. So now I have a difference between these, and that's going to give me bonus points. What I don't have is any more animals to play. And these both cost 4, and I'm sitting at a 2. That's a tall order. And they're gonna do their... Like this guy had to spend $2, which was fun. And you can see the scores. So I'm at 104. Right now I'm technically ahead of everybody. But there's endgame scoring that happens in this game, so don't get too excited. Oh, that was it. We don't even go to the coffee. That was literally the final round. I forgot about that. So they're doing adjustments here, and we actually won. That's not always common for me to win. So yes, I got 116 to 96. These two weren't quite as into it. I'm guessing this is the green player, and then we can view the board here. Yeah, that was the green player. So green player was definitely doing well. Um, but yeah, I was able to pass up, and let's see. So it shows the score. Does it show the breakdown of the score? It doesn't. Um, so I think if you go here, there is a well, that's not very helpful, is it? If you go to Board Game Geek, they have a much better. They have the actual rule book. This is very lame. Um, I mean, they're right. So at the end of a player's turn or during a break, their victory points total 100 or more. The end of the game is triggered. And all the stuff that you saw flying by was this part. They were scoring the cards because we scored points on based on our cards as well. And then, of course, whoever has the most points wins. Um, oh, this is a nice chart. Um, yeah, you have to. That's a shame. So, I wish I knew it off the top. Like, I'm pretty sure this is. So they said 100 points. I think it might be the 53 plus the 29. That's the part I don't. Oh, I remember. I think you get the. Because I made it all the way to here, that's 29 points. And then if you make it to here, that's 54. Yeah, my apologies. We'll have to pull up the Board Game Geek to verify how that works. Let me pause and do that. Okay, mind you, the rulebook is the initial release of the game, and they have since changed it. And so some versions of the game, it looks different, but the score is exactly the same, to be honest. So in the original game, like the score would be like 9-4, like it was really low numbers because they were doing this offset stuff. And then what they did was they just got rid of the offset, and now it's just this plus that. So here you can see red has 64 appeal and 20 conservation. Both counters are in the same scoring area, so the end game is triggered. Then it's saying blue has 16 points, the lowest appeal value in the scoring area. Blue has only 72 appeal, right here. Blue's appeal value is 4 short of this target because you take the rightmost ticket. That's right, you take the rightmost ticket of this, and then you count how many tickets is in between. And so blue has negative 4 points. So you could actually end the game with negative 4 points in the original way of playing. So then red has 18, so they passed each other. And so you take the rightmost one again, just like you did here, which is 70, and you subtract it from 79, and then red won with 9 points. So that's the old way. And then if we do BGG Arc Nova new scoring, will feature a small number. So to determine your score, you only have to add the number of the space with your conservation point marker on it and your appeal to have your total score. No more calculating distance. Ah, that's right. So on the physical copy, or if you're playing on Board Game Arena, they actually show it. There's a number that is on the bottom of your area. So this would have a value, and so does this, and then you just add them both together. I don't see that here, unfortunately. And so for them to say I have 116 points, I mean, clearly they're calculating it. It's just, um, this is right. There's no more negative score anymore. Um, Now the question is, can I find a picture? Uh, Arc Nova, new scoring board. Here we go. See, there's oh, where did it go? Here we go. So that number 39 right there, that's the points. So this person would have gotten 39 points because they made it to here, and then also 39 points because the ticket made it to there. So so as you go up the tickets, no, that's not right. You wouldn't be getting 99 points because you have 3 tickets. Um, but here you can see that's why you start with negative points and then it goes up. Then there you get to 39, but you also get points for this. And whoops. So here we go. It used to be that you took your highest appeal value, contracted blah blah blah. If I had 21 conservation points and 61 appeal and 63 appeal, my delta was 2 points. Yeah, so this guy would have scored 2 points in the old method. 21 conservation points translates to 39. So just adding 100 points doesn't work unless you do some calculations. Under the old rules, you'd have 2 points, and the new rules, you would score. Oh, that's right. The ticket value is the points. So every appeal is a point at the end of the game. So you just take that. That's 63 points plus 39 points, and that's how you get your 102. So that's right. That's why they changed it. My apologies. It's very confusing, and they definitely So, getting back to this, we can figure it out because I believe this is 29 points, and because you can see that they're showing. No, it's not showing the points because this would be negative up here. I'm at 29 conservation value, and I'm at 53. So I got 53 points from this, and then you can see I have 116 total. Now, some of those were for cards, right? I got points from cards or whatever. But I actually think, no, I'm sorry, I apologize. 53 plus this would equal 116. And I did a horrible job of closing. So this is 20. I made it to 29. Let's make sure. Am I in that ticket range of 39, 38, and 37? Yes. So 63 points. And then 63 plus 53 would be 116. Yeah. So that's how you figure it out. So this app calculates it correctly, but it's missing that white number that you see here. So that 63 number right there is what's missing. Maybe there's a way to figure it out. I don't know. Like, because this is 25, is it just 100 minus the ticket number? So maybe that's it. It's 100 minus the ticket number. So 100 minus 25 is 75. 100 minus 37 is 63. Yeah. So it's just 100 minus the number. There we go. So take 100 minus this number right here, 37. That's your score. Anywhere, like, as long as you get to here, you're going to score 100 minus 37. And this would be 100 minus 34 and so forth. And then this is just the value of the ticket. And that's how you get, and then like if you look at green here, who got 96, they would have gotten 100 minus 66, which is 34. And then they would have gotten 60, which is 94. How did I get 96? Or did I screw some math up here? No, that's 34. So let's look at what 20 is worth. There you go, it's worth 36 points. Because look, the rightmost one is 64. Oh, look at how deceitful that is. Oh, um, it's this one, not that one. Because so here we're going this way, and you always go against the grain, but this time you're going this way because it's snakes. That's what I did the math right, but it's this one I'm supposed to use. So yeah, that explains the thing. So anyways, sorry to belabor that. I'm sure you understood that 30 minutes ago. Um, so yeah, don't always win at this game. Sometimes it can be very frustrating. Sometimes you don't get the synergies in your cards that you want, and if anything, that could be a gripe with the game because you could argue that two equally skilled players, it then boils down to one guy got the cards and you didn't. But the mechanics are fun. The thinking that goes behind it is just a blast. And so I highly recommend this game. I definitely highly recommend the app as well. And what I'll do is I'll do another playthrough and we'll do solo play. So if you have the physical copy and you want to play the game, yourself, um, this will take you through that. I don't particularly enjoy this mode, to be honest with you. Um, and we can explain why when we get into it. But anyways, I'll have to do that in a future video. Thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.